Hi everyone, welcome to Property Pulse, your one-stop podcast for insights on real estate investments, trends, and everything in between. My name is Fernand Ifeanyi, CEO at Earthforia Properties, and I have here with me Mrs. Fitz. Can you tell us more about yourself?
Okay, thank you so much, Ifeanyi. Hello everyone. My name is Fitz. I am a real estate consultant, financial advisor, HR, and admin manager at Anchor Team.
Oh, Mrs. Fitz, you're welcome to Property Pulse. And so today we're going to be diving into one of Africa's biggest real estate market, Lagos, Nigeria. So if you're an investor, you're a home buyer, or just curious about knowing everything that is happening in the real estate markets here in Lagos, this episode is for you. So stay back while we're diving into this episode. And so today we're going to be exploring the booming market, the challenges, and what Lagos real estate holds for us in the future. So Ms. Fitz, why Lagos?
Why not Lagos? I mean, Lagos is often described as the heartbeat of real estate in Nigeria. It's home to about 20 million different tribes, culture, ethnicity, and different people live there anyway. Right? Lagos also one of Nigeria, hosting multinational companies, various industries, and a thriving thing. So why not Lagos? Right? I read that the GDP of Lagos recently hit $259 million. Do you understand? Lagos is now second largest economy in Africa. So why not? Lagos is an investor's gold mine. So if you're not investing in Lagos, you're not affected.
Do you know, there was a day I was having a conversation with an investor. Mistakenly, I said, do you know about Lagos country? So the person was like, Lagos. I was like, yes, Lagos country. He said, it's Lagos the country or Lagos. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Lagos state. Maybe because of the kind of investment that is really happening in Lagos, but that's why my mind was like saying Lagos as a country.
It's a mini country on its
Because
own.
matter of fact, I feel Lagos, we have everything in Lagos when it comes to commercial, or when it comes to industrial, or when it comes to agriculture, name it. Everything is in Lagos. But amidst all this, you know that despite the booming real estate markets of Lagos, there are still challenges being faced by the investors, home buyers in Lagos. Can you help us most of those challenges that are likely to be faced by these people that are coming into real estate, the investors, the home buyers, and those that are actually curious about knowing more about real estate?
Okay, so just like everyone, as we said, there are challenges, yes, there are risks, and then so in Lagos, I think one of the major challenges is the issue of land titles and documentation and ownership. Oh my God. When it comes to ownership, right? I mean, onile wahala.
Oh, the onile. I think those people are one of the should I say they are prone to flesh.
Yes, they are. But then I thank God for real estate companies, right?
Yeah.
So they help us bridge that gap.
Okay.
So the normal or the regular investor doesn't just have to start interacting with the real estate companies actually do that. They settle these people, they settle the families. So that's why we have.
Yeah, that family issue you just talked about, that reminds me, a senior uncle of mine, many years ago, he told us that he was building a house all the way around the Bedroom Axis, the developed part of Bedroom Axis. So it's just the story he told us anyway, but I had never visited the scene, so I don't really know if it was true or false. But I know many people have encountered saying that. It's like, he went to his land because he was building a story, building. So the day he got there, he noticed that the gate of his own compound was locked. So I was like, why did who locked the gate? So he just called somebody, this normal guys, somebody just showed up. Funny enough, the guy that showed up was the person that sold the land to him.
They show up from nowhere. Like,
and he told him that the land that they sold to somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, how do you mean? He went to court after he was still trying to figure whatever. The person they sold it to the killed one. So the guy just hands off. So I think when it comes to this delay issue, there is a kind of it sounds of previous place. I think that is where the real estate developers are actually coming. This real estate company, I think they bridge the gap between you having to have interact with this people. Because more of you really don't know them. You can't find them as an individual. You can't find them as an individual because they happen to own that particular land to buy. You understand? They understand everything about that property. They know who exactly owns the property. That is why somebody will buy a property. You will buy a property from, let's say you are the onile, you own a particular parcel of land, and an investor come to you, I want to buy probably maybe 2-3 plots, I want this or something in the future or whatever. After buying, and then maybe something came up and knowing to develop that property too. As at when I was supposed to develop the property. Coming back, you notice that somebody else is on the property.
Has already built, finished.
So you've been wondering what is going on. I thought this is supposed to be mine. This is supposed to be mine. So I think that somebody issue is a problem. And so you feel the real estate companies are actually bridging the gap between
yes, they are really, they are bridging the gap between us. Right?
Yes.
And preschool. But then again, one thing that I would advise, investors to do to take note of is always conduct research before you take anywhere. So another challenge faced is the high cost of property, right? Especially private locations like Ikoyi, BI, One, Java, Surrey, even in Ketra. These areas are quite pricey. But then my advice, right, is for people to try to get past Nigerians are still trying to help. You have saved the best game and imagine you can take you like but you can do 200.
Can I come in briefly? You know, most times as developers, when we advise these people that are just coming into real estate for the very first time to invest in this time, these areas in expansion, Badandri, where most of them tell you is that it is too far.
Is it about the look? Is it about it being too far or what you get in the long run?
But do you know what I used to tell them? I used to remind most of them of. I remember many years ago, growing up, my parents used to bring us to back to school. You understand? So going back to school, living some of my life in Abuja, and coming back to Lagos, I was like, what's up? I just talked to one of my brothers. Let's go see Babuji. Like, yeah, Babuji now we used to go to it's really so was happening. So imagine those that had foresight, they invested in those areas. Most of the people that invested there were actually living in Alapere. The Koshofe axis, you understand? Some of them were living in Surulere, some were living in would I say the outskirts of Ikorodu, because Ikorodu was not really developed the way it is now. You understand? That's another place where you should be thinking of going to invest in today. Now, most people were saying that place was what they call it, the Lekki axis was far, the Aja was far, the Chevron was far, the Songotedo was far. But today, that is where most of them are living and paying rent.
Imagine. So imagine if they had invested at that time.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what's the price of land now is in what's it called? Shogotedo. You know how much it is now? It's a lot. Shogotedo here. It's a lot.
Now that means for the aspect of the price of property being too high, like people would say, I think there's a solution to that. Go to emerging areas, go invest in those areas. You understand? Because tomorrow those areas will become very pricey, just like the places you're saying are pricey today. So I think the solution is already provided. Right. So what are other challenges you think people are facing as the investors and new home buyers?
Okay, so when it comes to the challenge facing from the government, most of areas have good roads and all of that areas suffer from poor road network, drainage, which is bad drainage and flooding. Thankfully, the developers actually do a good job. Like when they build into certain areas, open up the road to provide, drainage and all of that, which is good. Now the government, they're trying, but government should do better.
Yeah, I think the government are actually doing it. But just like you said, they can do better. You understand? And then developers, they also do it. Because I feel if I'm developing, maybe I'm building a house somewhere, you understand, and I want people to come buy those houses. I can't imagine people driving to the house, like, say this luxury, you understand me, premium house, and then there is no access to that house. So for that reason, I think developers are actually trying their best, trying to open up, and the government, I love to support the Lagos State government is actually giving. But I think they can do better. They can do better. Now, coming back to the price of properties in this location, so I feel in my head, I was just thinking, I think if I have to buy properties in Ikoyi, in Lekki, in Chevron, in VGC. I think I'm buying those properties for the sake of status.
Well, yes.
When I mean status, I know people might see status to be different things, but in my own head, what I'm actually thinking about is me being able to do business with people that can buy my products.
Yeah.
You understand? But you could be in you could be doing a kind of business, you understand, where you need big men, big women, you understand, a category of people to be able to buy from you, or maybe you want to know somebody that knows somebody that can help you fix one or two things, you understand? So you need to live in those kind of location. I think that's the main reason why most people, they do everything possible to make sure they live in premium locations, you understand, so that their business can still keep running.
Yeah, funny enough, we had the same conversation in the office.
Okay.
I think a week ago, right? Where you see some people buying 300 square meters in Banana Island, for example, for millions of dollars.
And do you know that most people complain that why would this person go buy this kind of land? Why not come to a time? The person actually he or she has a reason for buying that property.
It's a status they're talking about.
Yes, status.
Because do you know who the person's neighbor could be?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you understand? So that's why they do these things. Yeah. That's why. So the location is not overpriced just because of the apartment or the building.
Yes.
It's actually the connection by the network.
Your neighborhood.
Exactly. The neighborhood.
The person that is going to be your neighbor. Exactly. Imagine the governor of Lagos being your neighbor. So that's going to be a good one. You understand? Now we talk about other challenges being faced by investors, home buyers, and even those who are going into real estate. Let's talk about rental market challenges.
Let me draw what I'm not son.
You're
my landlord. See, when it comes to rental market challenge, I think what we need is just price regulation.
Okay.
Yes, because one landlord cannot just wake up in the morning and say, I need this price. 300% increase of that.
So considering the fact that you said price regulation, I'm not against that. But the question I want to ask you is this: what if I built my house in 2020, or rather 2010, for 20 million naira, and you built your house, which happened to be another landlord, for 150 million naira in 2025 in the same location? Let's say the same estate.
Okay.
The same estate. You understand? You built yours in 2025. I built mine in 2010. And a policy is coming in that says I must rent out my apartment, maybe a 5-bedroom apartment or duplex or something, for 2.5 million naira. And you also, because you have house in that location and the same size of mine, which is 5-bedroom and duplex or apartment, as the case may be, you have to rent out yours for 2.5 million naira. How do you think that is going to?
So basically, what I think should happen is, first of all, that's the scenario.
The reason why I actually asked that question is because of the fact that you talk about price regulation. You understand?
Even if for regulating prices, right, does not mean it has to be based on you build 5-bedroom, it has to be this particular amount. And you have to consider the amenities in this building. Okay. What amenities do you have? What do I have? Do you understand? You cannot just have anything. I mean, considering when you built yours, probably you thought of radiant, and then I have all the luxury amenities, and you're expecting what's called put up my house for rent at the same price.
Oh, you know, some landlords can be funny,
and that is why that regulation should be there.
Okay.
To avoid things like this.
Because I've heard people complain. I've heard people complain. So most of the times I ask me, instead of having to continue paying rent, don't mind me. I tell them, why not have to pay money to buy your own house? That's why we have off-plan products out there. You understand me?
Yes.
Don't start off with investing in off-plan.
And that's one of the best and sweetest investments.
We're still going to talk about that. We're still going to talk about that. We're still going to talk about that. So, haven't spelled out all the challenges in most of the challenge, because we know that there are other challenges still people still face when it comes to investing in Lagos. Let's talk about tips on how to invest wisely.
Okay, so the first thing was, well, what I always advise my perspective client do is just
Okay.
to understand. So you cannot just invest in a particular area just because you get the notice. What's the history of this business? Who are owners? Do you understand? What type of documents does this property have? You need to conduct due diligence outside this country. Is it free from government acquisition? Is it free from government interest? Do you understand? Because so many people have entered serious wahala because of things like this. I mean, there was this story that my lawyer shared with me once of the clients that she had. He bought some land like years ago and just left it, only for him to come back. Government and the purpose didn't giving it to a different family. So in order for him to get claims done, and enough people have settled this new family. Do you understand? Because they're not very interested in that. So we have to avoid things like this. You need to adopt it.
And coming into that, I think the issue of due diligence is very, very, very important. Because
very.
I get to understand that there's this trend now in real estate from real estate marketers out there, investors. Probably maybe you saw a particular property on an investor's page, or you get cause you want your nephew or your cousins really want to get commission, or they get paid their agency fee for getting a client. You understand? You now tell your cousin, okay, there's this property I see, I want you to go to the company and I will buy it to you. Remember that your cousin is never a realtor. Your cousin does not know anything about real estate, and because you feel, I want the money to recycle around my family, let me buy from her. At the end of the day, you notice that your cousin, you just drag this person into this business because you want to buy a house, you want to buy land. You understand? Your cousin does not understand what it means to do changes. I give it to real estate marketers. I give it to them. These people go out of their way to do research on properties. They research properties before they put it out there. You understand? I know 50 to 60%, I know not all, but at least 50 to 60 to 70% of them do due diligence. You understand it?
Because at the end of the day, you don't want to involve the land disputes and unnecessary because the investor will not, most likely will not come to you.
No.
Since they got through you. It is you that they will come to. It is you that will most likely spend time before you stop. So in order to avoid all of this, just conduct your due diligence.
And
it's also advisable to have a lawyer do this for you.
yeah.
Because some realtors, let's be honest, some realtors, they'll tell you they conducted due diligence, they've done everything, and they're not just gonna.
No, I think when that is why it's very important that you reach out, not just realtors but consultants.
Yes.
When talking to these people, you should know when the way they answer questions, you understand, the way they talk to you, because I just want to sell, I just give out anything, you understand?
Yeah.
So buyers and investors and those curious about coming into real estate should be very careful the kind of realtor or they reach out to. Ask questions, ask sensitive questions about a particular property before you put in your money into those kind of properties.
Another thing, you need to also go for physical inspection. Or inspection, it could be virtual, it could be physical, but even if you're not in Nigeria, for example, right, we had a family member or a trusted friend that actually verify the location of this property. Because no one's don't buy a swamp tomorrow. So that's also very important.
Okay, so talking about researching the property, how about considering investing in emerging locations?
So that's it for me. Because the truth is, all these privileges are actually saturated. There are so many builders, so many apartments, and
not even about being just saturated. Not everybody can afford those locations.
Exactly.
For example, if I work and I earn a salary of maybe 150,000 naira, 200,000 naira. What do you expect me to buy a house in Lekki or you buy a land in Lekki?
Like, for how many years? You cannot.
But do you know that with that amount, you can actually get a land if you are diligent and you are ready to invest in a property. Do you know you can actually invest in property?
Especially since some companies also have flexible payment.
Yes, that's what I'm actually going to. Because I know some companies that have flexible payment plans. We have companies like Anchor Eye and the likes. You understand? You can actually get good properties in good locations and affordable. You understand? Verified properties.
Yes.
Do you get? We have a whole lot of them out there. So I think that the emerging location is actually important.
Yeah.
Reach out to companies, reach out to realtors that know what they are doing. You understand it? So let's talk about off-plan. Off-plan properties.
Off-plan properties is one of the sweetest and fastest way to get more cash.
I think you should tell me.
in real estate, because off-plan properties are basically properties that are not yet free.
Okay.
So you get the property at the construction stage, and the price at that time is usually significantly lower than when the property is fully completed. So you already know that at the end of a specified period, in case you want to sell or whatever, you already have a significant amount as the return on investment. For example, we have the Elara apartment, right? So currently selling at an off-plan price of 130 million naira. By the time it is fully constructed, this cannot be that price. It will be maybe between 150.
So where is this Elara apartment? I need to be sure where this property is, where the location start. You know, we talked about the price, overpricing properties, you understand? You talked about prime location. So you just mentioned the property, you said Elara apartment. Where is this property located?
Okay, so the Elara apartment is located in Ikate.
Okay.
Right?
That's the prime.
Well, it is. That's like the new place one.
No. So you mentioned the price. The reason why I called you back is because of the price. You understand me? You said 130 million naira.
Yes, at the off-plan.
For how many bedrooms? Is it an apartment? Is it a duplex or terrace?
So it's an apartment.
Okay.
2 bedroom apartment, but it had really good amenities.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, we'll talk about that later. So if I will be able to buy an apartment or 2-bedroom apartment for 130 million naira in Ikate, I think it's worth it. At what they call off-plan state. So that means the property is completed.
It's not like currently now.
Best tip for any investor. I think you should start calling the number. Any investor.
Yes, please.
For 130 million naira, an apartment in Ikate.
Yes.
2-bedroom apartments in Ikate, 130 million naira at off-plan state.
Yes.
That means when that property is completed, I think you should be looking at 300 million or something.
Yes, because currently, completed building in that area is already sold for 180 to 300 million. Currently in that area. Yes.
So you can actually think of investing in off-plan. And most of this off-plan, like how many months do you think most of these properties have been completed and delivered? You know, the truth is, let me be sincere with you. The reason why most people don't go for off-plan because some developers, some so-called developers have disappointed. So what do you think people should put into consideration before investing into off-plan with a particular developer or a company as per se?
Okay, so when it comes to investing in off-plan project, you need to understand track record first.
Okay.
So not just going to this anyhow. So you have to know the truth, right? Understand if this is the first project, you know, if they've been doing this long term, even if it's their first project, their track record with other, maybe other estates that they have, they don't also determine.
Because there's always a beginning for everybody.
Of course,
nobody just came and then have everything. You understand? There's always a starting point for everybody. So I think off-plan is another way of you having yourself live in those prime locations.
Yes.
You understand? Having yourself live in those prime.
And also flexible payment plan too.
Yes.
You also enjoy that.
Yeah, flexible payment plan. That's cool. And so let's think about this part. The commercial aspect of real estate in Lagos.
Okay.
Don't you think that market is not saturated yet?
No, it's not.
Yes.
It's not yet saturated, right? So there are so many things you can do when you talk to commercial real estate. I mean, you can buy an apartment and use it as Airbnb.
Yeah.
You could rent it out to family.
That's actually another way of making
Of course it is.
in Lagos.
Yeah.
Because in December last year, I had some friends flying to Nigeria, you understand? So they actually called me up. I find you need a place to stay. I'm like, use hotel. They don't want hotel.
Yeah.
When I reached out to most of my friends that are into Airbnb, you believe me, sincerely, there was not.
Yes. Yes.
There was none left.
Especially when it comes to peak period like festive season and all of that. There's usually no room.
So I think that's another way of making good money in real estate, commercial real estate. So,
and apart from maybe using the apartments for Airbnb,
yes,
you can also use it as a studio, right? So you could have content creators come in, funny pastry, like and all of that. They come in, create their content and create their content rather than all manner of. So that's also another way to get money for that. So I mean, there's a huge capital. There's a whole.
So this other part has to do with agriculture. Because agriculture, the president himself is so concerned about agriculture, so keen about it. He wants Nigeria to be a country that will be able to provide for themselves. You understand? We have vast land, but the truth is most people are not really seeing the lights when it comes to agriculture. And the good thing about it is that when you go to Ekwe, there's good parcel of land where you can actually buy, you understand, lease, and then decide going into agriculture. A lot of companies that do that for people. So don't you think the farming aspect of real estate is actually a very good thing in Lagos?
Oh yes, it was actually an amazing idea. I'm all for that. Okay, so I have the clients right that got about 2 plots in one of our estates, right? It's a residential estate, but then it's not ready to build. So right now, it's pretty amazing that doing it. So instead of leaving the land just in farming.
Can I stop you? Last year I got some piece of land just outside my properties, you understand? I just tried to get it. And guess what I planted there? I planted yams.
Oh wow.
And I've been eating the yams and potatoes that I harvested since last year November. I'm still eating those yams. I gave a lot out to people, you understand? So for those that actually want to go into the commercial aspect of farming, you can get up this in Earthforia, and so there are a whole lot of things you can do here in Lagos. In real estate in Lagos, very fertile. So having talked about the whole tips of investing in Lagos, what people need to put into consideration, how to go about it, and what kind of investment to put in your money into when it comes to Lagos real estate. Let's talk about what's next for Lagos.
So Lagos State is seeing a lot of infrastructure projects, right? So we have the Coastal Road, which is going to connect Lagos and Calabar, right? We have the 4 million pool that's going to decongest traffic on island. We need that, okay? So we have the red, the blue, and the green line project, okay? So there's a lot. Oh, and then the government has also recently shown interest for that better one in local houses, right, to Nigerians. So there's a lot of in Lagos real estate. The only thing that we need to do for investors and buyers is to just understand the market and position themselves, right? So please.
Yeah, so positioning themselves has to do with
Yes.
The right place, the right time, and you understand. You don't say this particular place is far or this place is here. You have the money to invest. So there are payment plans for a lot of properties in Lagos. All you do, look at that location, and you find that location. You know there are a lot of that in my building. So having thought this is consideration, I think investors should be looking at Ikorodu area of Lagos, the Lady axis of Lagos, the axis of Lagos, the Pandagri axis of Lagos. Start investing in places like that. You understand? Start investing in places like that and look to the future or look to the future. You understand me? Because these areas that we got prime locations today were once swampy, far, and name it. So I think you should start looking at these places. So that's a wrap on today's episode on Property Pulse. Lagos is a city of opportunities, and the Lagos real estate market is a proof of it. So whether you're a seasoned investor, you're looking to buy, or you just want to stay informed, remember, knowledge is power. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to share, remember to comment, share your thoughts on what you heard in this episode, and remember to stay tuned because we're going to bring in more of this to your doorstep. So, Miss Faith, thank you very much for joining us today on Property Pulse, and every one of you that stayed back to watch this to the end, thank you for staying back. See you until your calls and comments start rolling in. Bye bye for now. So.